ask you first, Ms. Duan, because the last time I interviewed you, you were talking about setting up a joint investment fund with an investment platform with the Silk Road Fund. Tell us why that's important and how that helps you as a corporation mitigate risks.
Under the Belt and Road Initiative, we are exploring our partnership and to see if we can take it to the next level. Simply put it, how do we transform from a traditional EPC and equipment supplier, buyer-seller relationship to a more long-term sustainable partnership in joint market development, joint financing, and also joint project execution. So under this background, and then exploring the new partnership model, we have launched this joint fund together with the Silk Road. It was end of last November. I think if you're really looking at the joint financing, today we have had several successful project execution together with Silk Road Fund prior to this. What we find, and obviously during the process, we have built pretty good trust and relationship and kind of get to know each other better. But during the process, what we also find is for today, a lot of the infrastructure project really requires financing. And in the traditional sovereign fund financing is no longer enough. And I think the IPP, PPP, and how do you tap into the global capital markets are becoming a critical success factor. So the reality today is you will find projects are trying to look for money, capital, and on the other hand side, capital is looking for projects. The key thing here is when you go beyond the traditional sovereign fund, the financial institutions, they need return. So the question is, how do you better understanding the risk of the project? How do you better evaluating the risk? And how do you actually mitigate the risk during the process becoming the key?
Dr. Choi, I mean, you've been operating within the region and also internationally for the past 5 decades or so. So do you think that sort of risk management approach only works for huge conglomerates like GE? And also, what do you think of Hong Kong's role in the Belt and Road? I know you signed that arrangement with the NDRC last year, but what does it really mean? Does it mean you're the super connector, or can you be an investor as well?
We just feel that Hong Kong is not only a super connector. As you know that Hong Kong is a world financial center. We are just same as New York and London. We do fundraising, for IPO. In the past few years, we can say that we are the #1 for the fundraising for the amount that we raised in the past 2 years. And besides that, we are very strong in the service industry. That's why many SOE, when they go abroad, they work with us. Because on the legal side, accountancy, consultancy, all this, I think the strength of Hong Kong. And I would say that Hong Kong is not only a super connector, we are also CIO. That's the term that I use. We are connector, we are investor, and at the same time, we are operator. Why we are investor? In the past 50 years, China has been just an open up policy. I think up to now, still we are the #1 investor in China. We're the biggest investor in China at the moment. And that's why we have jointly with Guangdong built the so-called the World Factory in the Pearl River Delta area in the past 40 years. Therefore, we operate, we invest more than many factories, and we employ more than maybe 20 or 30 million workers in the Pearl River Delta area. Therefore, we invest. And at the same time, we operate. You see, there's so many factories in China, in ASEAN countries that we operate. And at the same time, like the public services, like MTR, we have the mass transit in Hong Kong, airport, and also the ports in the harbor, harbor port in Hong Kong. We are the operator. Therefore, we can say that we connect, we invest, at the same time we operate. Therefore, I would like to say that Hong Kong can really play an important role in the Belt and Road Initiative.
And Mr. Yong, how does technology enable the sharing of prosperity, the way you see it from the AWS perspective?
The way that we have seen is like we have seen a couple of Chinese enterprise, well, I would say startups, that when they started the business in the US market and also in the European market. Initially, that was in a very early stage. They are all focusing on just taking their Chinese technologies to those markets. But eventually, when they start realizing that they need to meet the needs of those local customers. So they start expanding and start building up their R&D center in the US market and also in European country. So the good thing that we have seen in the last couple of years is that there is a lot of technology innovation. When I say technology innovation, it's not like a business model innovations. So there was a lot of technology innovation by means of all this so-called international research and development labs coming back into China. So I see that it's actually this helped actually a lot of Chinese startups to start adopting some of the really good technology innovation rather than, just targeted a certain business model and then try to tailor-made to the needs of different countries. So I will see this as making it a lot more sustainable and be more competitive in the whole market.